All right, we're back. Episode 16 of Cleats and Seats, and we're going out to hear from Coach J.D. Atkins of the Foley Lions. He's the associate head coach and OC, two-time 7A Assistant Coach of the Year, according to Bama High School News, and he is the co-host of Alabama Football Chat. This guy got his first coaching job when he was a freshman in college, and he was an OC at 21 years old. So a lot of knowledge of the game of football. Excited for you to hear from him. They're doing big things down in Foley. They're 3 months in, and we're going to go out to Foley right now and hear from Coach J.D. Atkins and see where these Foley Lions are at and what they got going on. And remember, if you love the game, you're in the right seat. All right, another edition of the press box, man. We're going out to Foley, Alabama with the Foley Lions with two-time 7A Assistant Coach of the Year, according to Bama High School News. He's associate head coach, OC, and he is also co-host of the Alabama Football Chat, Coach J.D. Atkins. What's up, brother?
Dude, how's it going, man?
Man, it's awesome. That's a lot on the tongue right there to say all that, man. You got a lot, dude. What's up, dude? How are things over at Foley?
Dude, things are awesome, man. We've been here a couple months now and just getting to work, trying to meet kids and generate some buzz and get to work and get in the weight room and, all the things.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, dude. I've been following you personally, but also the Foley football page on Twitter and everything, and it's y'all are doing some big things, man. Y'all are putting the kids out there. Kids are getting offered. Y'all are throwing them out there and spotlighting them, showing the weight room. It feels like y'all are kind of doing everything right and everything's rolling right along, man. Talk about you being associate head coach, Coach Moore coming in. What does it look like from January to now? You're midway through this semester. What has kind of like been the change of when you came in January? What's it look like now?
Yeah, so come in January, it's all about the kids to start with. So it's meet the kids, start developing relationships, figure out who's who and what and who are they as a human being and what do they do and what makes them tick and while we're doing that, we're also working on staff and figuring out who's staying and who's going and who's coming and all that and trying to get an idea of plan. We already have like a 12-month calendar that we have put together at Opelika that we've been running on. But obviously that's got to adjust coming here, different schedules, different people, different whatever. So kind of figuring out the situation, getting the lay of the land and then jumping in the weight room as soon as possible. So, crushing the weight room 4 days a week. And getting a little bit of speed stuff, some skill work stuff, and then getting in nutrition, getting protein in their bodies, and helping our kids grow, stuff like that. And then, as we transition into February and then now into March, starting to introduce a little bit of football, nothing crazy, just starting to get some verbiage in their life and let them get accustomed with how we operate more than anything. We're not really going out trying to win anything today, but we are going out there trying to, you know, operations, right? Like, how do we practice? How do we get to a practice? How do we meet? How do we lift? How do we walk to class? How do we do everything, right? So it's just rewiring, retooling is I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah, and I want to get into how y'all are doing that over at Foley because I'm very interested. But I
Yeah.
want to know more about you as a coach. I like tell me, man, like where did you start out at? Kind of where you been and how you've grown into being associate head coach and OC down at Foley.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether you whichever way you want to look at it, I've had the blessing or the misfortune to work at a lot of places. So,
That's not always a bad thing.
yeah, quickest way possible, man. I got out of high school at Opelika, and had a couple offers to go play like D3 ball, and was just tired of it and wanted to go to
What
school.
year? What year did you graduate from Opelika?
I graduated Opelika in 12,
Okay, all
and
right, cool.
so I'm looking at going to a Huntington or a Faulkner or somewhere like that to keep playing ball, and just decided I really wanted to start coaching and was done playing. And Opelika offered me a chance to start coaching ninth grade ball right away as a freshman in college. So I stayed, local, went to Auburn, had a good time, like everybody else, and started coaching ninth grade ball, and did that for 2 years at Opelika under Coach Brian Blackman.
Yeah.
And Coach Moore was actually the OC at that time. And so He was
Oh,
a
that's cool.
a mentor of mine early on, and then left there. Did a
I
couple
love. By
years.
the way, I love Brian Blackman. I got to work with him at Auburn when he was an analyst. Man, he's
Yeah,
he's an awesome dude.
phenomenal football
Continue.
coach, man, and phenomenal leader of men as well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, bounced around a little bit, finishing up college. Did a couple years at Central Coosa County, which most people know for basketball, not really a
Uh.
football school, and had some fun there. That was my first OC job. I was like 21 years old, didn't know anything about anything, but there were like zero ramifications for anything because
Yeah.
no one really cared about football. So we just rocked and rolled there and learned a bunch. And graduated college, and Jamie Dubose called and offered me a spot at Phoenix City. And I went and did a year there and had a heck of a time, learned a ton. And then, like most young coaches who were, wanted more than they had, I chased an OC job and went to Dadeville High School for a year and did that. And then Coach Grider called me. Dothan was putting together their two schools down in Dothan to make one school and offered me a chance to be the O-line coach and get back to, big level high school football and kind of reset. And so I went down there to Dothan for 2 years.
What year
First
was
year,
that?
that was, we consolidated in 19, and I was the O-line coach that year. And then going into the COVID year,
Okay.
became the coordinator and finished up in 20 there. And then went to in 21, I think, man, numbers are hard to run together. But in 21, went to Ben Russell with Aubrey Blackwell
Uh.
and did a year there. And then Coach Moore called me, and man, my whole career I've been looking for a chance to get back with Coach Moore, and because
Yeah.
I looked up to him kind of like a father figure almost, and he called me from Hartselle and said, "Hey, I got a job, man, and I think you need to take it." And I said, enough said, man. I'm there. So came to Hartselle, took a step back. I was a special teams coordinator, co-OC. Kind of got to see ball a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Did two years with him there, and it was an absolute blast. And didn't think we were leaving for a while. Really loved it up there. And that's when the Opelika deal happened. So he got the Opelika job, brought me with him as the OC. We did the last 2 years there, and then here we are now at the beach.
Man, that's cool. I've heard good things about Hartzell. Hey, that's
So
that's
it's
that's funny, man. Coaching's so like weird of how like you just somehow always end up back with your people, man.
ain't no doubt, man. And you mentioned Hartselle, man. Hartselle is I tell people it's a mythical place. It ain't real, man. It's such great people and such great community support. Man, it is it's a dream to work at and really good people.
So talk about so you're at Foley right now, and a bunch of the stuff on that y'all guys are putting out is hashtag own it, hashtag one roar. Talk to me about that and what that means for you guys.
Yeah, so own it has kind of been Coach Moore's deal for a while. That was with us at Hartselle. It's with us at Opelika, and then now with us at Foley. And basically, Coach Moore's kind of whole deal is he's not into a bunch of like sayings and rules and things like that. Everything kind of comes back to own it, which is accountability, self accountability. Can you own your decision, your piece, your role, your daily decisions? It all comes back to you. And once we learn how to all kind of take responsibility for our little piece of the puzzle, it all kind of puts itself to place. So we're constantly challenging the guys to, basically own their decisions and own their mistakes and even own their successes. And That's kind of the main deal. And then One Roar was a kind of a branding deal that Foley was already trying to do and trying to push. And it's just a unity deal, man, trying to get Foley, in one place. You probably know Foley better than I know Foley at this point, but it kind of seems like a place that at one point had a lot of tradition and a lot of pride, and maybe it's been spread out over the last few years for whatever reason. And I think they're pushing really hard. There's some good people here that are trying to get that pride and that tradition back.
Yeah, I can definitely see it working out like that, man. Um, so now we're rolling into the off season. You got these guys in the weight room. Y'all are kind of getting out on the field, maybe 1 or 2 hours a week. What does it look like for you as an OC when you go to install and talk to the guy? I know you talked about a little bit about verbiage. So
Yeah.
anybody that's out there that's an OC, are you kind of like a day one install guy? Or do you like how do you kind of in your head when you want to install stuff at a new place, how do you approach that?
So I do a 3 day install, and we break all of I say all of it. It's probably 90% of what we do. breaks
Mm-hmm.
down into 3 days, and we build the blocks, man, like the base blocks of, this concept, this tag, this whatever, and we teach language. And my personal philosophy on these, like this 2 hour period or whatever we're calling it before spring, I want to, especially first year of the program, I want to drown our kids in information. Like
Yeah.
I want to give them more than you probably think they should have, and see what they can retain. I want to challenge them mentally. I
Mm-hmm.
want to frustrate them, man. I want to see who they are, and then because we get enough time during this time period to kind of go through this install 2 or 3 times, and then we get to spring and things really slow down, and we get back simple. We get back to really who we are, and it gives us time to evaluate and see. Because the base blocks are the base blocks, no matter where you are, but we got to figure out who we have and how it fits into this puzzle here, and who we're going to end up being. And so, we're getting a base install done, but at the same time, I'm evaluating these guys to see, what is Foley offense going to look like? Because it's not going to look like Opelika offense or Hartsell offense or whoever, because we got different kids and we got different people. So that's kind of what it is here. Like I said, we break it down 3 day install. We try to hit it a few times and just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And then as we go, we'll do it again in summer. We'll do it again in fall camp. We'll hit the base install again. And then from there, tweak and add things and game plan stuff and things of that nature.
If it looks like Opelika's offense in year one, I'm gonna be trembling over there on the sideline because we got to play y'all, in the second round.
Yeah.
And buddy, yeah, y'all were rolling, man. And shout out to you guys last year for what y'all did, making it to the state championship, man. That's big time by you guys. Coach Moore, is he a offensive guy or a defensive guy? What
Yeah,
is
so
he?
he's kind of unique, man. He's an offensive guy. That's where he started. He was an
Okay,
OC. He was my OC. Played for him. He called plays. Called plays as a young head coach. And then our time in Hartsville is when he started passing it off. And
gotcha.
and here's the thing: we got to Opelika, and that was my first time ever being an OC for Coach Moore.
Uh,
And I fully expected, a lot of involvement from him, and he does. He is heavily involved in what we do. But he spends just as much, if not more, time with the defense.
okay.
Um, he's kind of the head coach, man, that where he sees a need and he goes and fills it. And so if he feels like he needs to be with this group more than that group, or this position group more than that group, that's where he's going to be. He's also very heavily involved in special teams. But he is an offensive background, quarterback guy. We both kind of joke. We both have become tight end fullback guys, because that's kind of where we both cut our teeth growing up in coaching.
Yeah.
And it's a very important position to us. But yeah, that's who he is.
Yeah, what a dude. The fullback y'all had last year at Opelika, man. I was very impressed by him. I found him after the game and just breaking down film on him. He could do it all.
He's a
Yeah, that
baller, man.
man,
And
he
if I tell
was.
you that one of the first days at
What's his
Opelika,
name? So
his
give
name's
give
Blake Johnson, but he goes by
oh
the
shout
Hammer.
shout out to Blake Johnson, the hammer. He is the hammer. Yeah, he was good, man.
Dude, one of my first days at Opelika, we're in the weight room, and he's walking around on the turf getting ready for a lift. And his kid's like maybe 6 foot, 6'1", and like 250,
Yeah.
and kind of looks like an undersized guard at times.
Uh-huh.
And I watched the kid do a backflip on the turf, and I'm like, what in the world? This guy is special. And our spring game coming into this past season, he had 4 touches for 4 touchdowns, and
Oh yeah.
every single touch was different. It was like a fullback dive, it was a wheel route for like a 30-yard reception, it was a screen, and then it was like a wildcat carry. Like the kid can literally do everything.
Yeah, and that tells you anything about the O line y'all had. 6'1", 250 is undersized for
Yeah,
y'all.
ain't no doubt. Ain't no
In
doubt.
other schools, it's like, man, that's a big old boy, man. So y'all, we're in the off season right now, and you're still figuring out coaches, or you might have them all ready to go. How does that work with you and Coach Moore? If you're interviewing for a O line guy or a wide receivers coach, are you sitting in on those interviews as well and getting asked questions, or how does that work with you guys?
Yeah, so Coach Moore's always kind of let me be a part of the offensive coaches that have gotten hired, and
Yeah.
then this year, kind of in my new role as an associate head coach or whatever you want to call it, I've gotten to sit in on some of the defensive stuff as well. So been cool to be a part of that, man. It's a great
Yeah, that's
learning
cool.
experience for me. But Yeah, I mean, I get to ask questions and kind of pick brains and bring them some candidates when I think there's a right fit or a guy like that. But ultimately it's his call, and he runs it.
I saw speaking of defense, I saw the quality control hire that you guys just got as well, man. That's kind
Yeah.
of big time and new for high school. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah, so
So,
as we started at Opelika, you just feel like you got so many kids, and so much time to coach and areas of the field, and you can split groups and do things of that nature, and you just don't want kids standing around. So, like, I mean, if you're running a team period on one side of the field, you want to be running a team period on the other side of the field, and same with Skelly and one on ones and all these groups, and you want max reps, and you want kids on film getting film, and you want to develop kids, and the only way to do that is to get good coaches around. And sometimes that outnumbers the amount of actual positions you have. But the more guys you can get around that are quality guys that know what's going on, allows you to do more groups and get more reps and do that. And that's something that we really valued at Opelika and are hoping to bring here as well.
so right now going into this next season, are you just going to be a coordinator or are you going to coach a position as well?
Yeah, so currently, while we're still filling out staff and stuff of that
Hmm.
nature, I'm coaching quarterbacks. But depending on how everything shakes out, if we happen to hire a quarterback guy at Opelika, we did hire a quarterback guy, and I was able to kind of float, which is ideal for me. It's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, but we'll see kind of how it plays out here. I'm kind of the same way as Moore. Wherever I'm needed, I'll be. If I need to go coach running backs or tight end fullbacks or O line, whatever, I'll go be there.
Give me one drill right here, and I know you said tight end fullbacks is your baby, so we'll go with
Yeah,
tight end and fullbacks.
yeah.
Give me one drill that Coach Atkins does during the week that shows up on Friday nights that you're like, that's that drill.
Oh well, I mean, last couple of years we've been pretty heavy buck sweep team.
Oh,
So
I know.
yeah. So I mean, simple like day one drill, something we'll work a lot with our tight ends and even our fullbacks when we're aligned in certain ways. Is just like we call it down maintain. So I'm already fit up on the down block. I've
Uh-huh.
got hat placement, hand placement. I'm in proper position, and then on the whistle, we're getting some type of pressure, whether that's upfield pressure or cross face pressure, and we're working on hip maintain through the blocks. All right, I'm getting cross face pressure. I'm trying to surf my hips upfield and keep that wall while applying pressure through my hand and through my hip. We'll work that usually daily, pretty early on in practice for 2.5 minutes or so. We'll work that both sides and give them both looks and try to get them a few reps just to get them going a little bit.
Oh, I like that. I like those terms too. So if you got a guy in a sniffer position, I think y'all have ran buck sweep out of that sniffer position too. Where
Yeah.
where what's his what when you're coaching him up, what's his aiming point on like a five technique?
Yeah, so we do it a couple ways, right? If I'm a true sniffer and I'm like stacked to tackle, okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to pin C gap at all costs. So
Okay.
we try to aim at that outside eye, work heavy vertical through them. You hate a kid that goes out there and tries to swing around a block, right, and give up heavy penetration. Right now, I'm cutting off pullers and all that type of stuff. So we try to be as square as possible on arrival with heavy pressure through the outside eye, and then work the slow pin as we vertical push through it. If I'm a wing or like something of that nature, the block changes a little bit more. Now I'm not like pin C gap at all costs. Now maybe I'm down to zero backer, backside backer, or something of that nature. Just depend on the set that we're in.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Coach, I appreciate your time tonight. Last question. For the Foley community and everybody that's following the Foley football, tell us what we should expect from the Foley offense coming up this fall.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we say one thing usually is kind of our motto is that it's all about the football.
Hmm.
So we're going to preach ball security, but also we're going to preach fighting for the football, man. So if there's a pile to push, we're going to push it with 11, and that's the cue as well. So we're fighting for every yard because we can't afford not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. Hey, associate head coach, offensive coordinator, Foley football, Coach JD Atkins, brother. Thank you for your time tonight. I wish you the best of luck this off season, and we'll see you this fall.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man, and everything you're doing. This stuff is awesome. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, thank you, brother.